Why isn't Minnesota hosting any World Cup matches? I mean, just think about it. They have a state-of-the-art stadium located right in the middle of the continent and have already hosted massive events like the Super Bowl, the Final Four, and even last year's Gold Cup tournament. However, the reason why actually reveals a $430 million problem that no one seems to know anything about. Now, most fans might not realize it, but the bidding process for this summer's World Cup actually happened all the way back in 2018. At the time, Minneapolis was one of 18 U.S. cities in the running to host matches this summer. But just one day before the U.S., Canada, and Mexico submitted their final bid, the city pulled out, citing unacceptable demands from FIFA. But what were they asking for? Well, once North America was selected to host the 2026 Men's World Cup, all 16 host cities had to formally agree to spend upwards of $150 million each to pay for the logistics, security, and infrastructure required to host the world's largest sporting event. And while some places like Kansas City spent over $86 million in taxpayer money to foot this bill, here in Minnesota, state and local politicians were far more hesitant to spend hundreds of millions of dollars just to host 6 World Cup games, which meant it would have been up to corporations and private donors to come up with that money. The only issue was, at the same time that FIFA needed commitments to host the 2026 World Cup, Minneapolis was in the middle of raising $50 million from those same corporations and donors to host the 2018 Super Bowl, which it managed to put on with any direct subsidies. Not to mention, FIFA was also reportedly requesting that a 2-month no-go zone be created around US Bank Stadium, where no other events could be held, meaning other massive sporting events being hosted this summer, ranging from WWE SuperSlam to the Savannah Bananas, likely wouldn't have happened. Still, that hasn't stopped state and local officials today from asking, what if? In fact, 2 state legislators, 1 Democrat and 1 Republican, have even introduced a bill that would take the extra state sales tax revenue generated during sporting events and put it into an account that could be used to bid for future events, which they claim would help the state recapture an estimated $430 million in lost revenue from events like the Men's World Cup that the state has missed out on